Okay, so let's take a look at where we left off last time. We have a character, and let me click in this view. We can walk around, we can hold shift and run. We put up some doors. Let's take a look at how we can model maybe a little bit more advanced doors. And let's see here. And so we have these two sliding ones. And then we're going to take a look at how do we animate and script them. So let's actually just start off with, here's one door here. This door will leave it open. This will be like our sliding door. So what we can do, I'm gonna hit F to focus on this, is I'm gonna thin this out a little bit by hitting R to scale and just bring that in. And we'll take a look at making a sliding door. So one area that we can do is start to think about what kind of materials we can create in Unity and also how we can edit those. So I'm gonna go to Tools, Pro Builder window. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially select this front face and then press R for scale, then hold shift. And notice I'm like scaling in a rim around this door. Then I'm going to hit W and shift in again. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Actually, let me expand this a little bit. Hit R and then hold shift. Now remember, we could always duplicate this. So after you make this door, you're not kind of like stuck with just that thing. I'm going to play with the distance. We're getting a little bit of light bleeding. So when we get to the lighting portion of this, we'll fix that. Okay, so what you can do is inside of our models folder here, I'm actually going to go a little bit deeper now. I'm going to go to assets. I'm going to create another folder and I'm going to just call this art. Oops, let's change that a little bit. Got a new keyboard and drag models folder in there. And it's one of the mechanical ones and it's hypersensitive, which is kind of a little annoying. All right, so I'm going to right click in here. I'm going to create another folder and I'm going to call it materials. And this is really just going to be for materials or shaders or whatever that we create to emulate stuff. So for instance, if I right click in here and I go to create and I create a material, I'm just going to call this glass material. And notice there's all these options here, including a base map. So I'm going to make this color sort of like this grayish tint. And I'm going to go to the material editor here. And I'm going to drag my glass material into maybe Alt-4, that spot. Now, when I select just that face and I hit Alt-4, you can see it applied that glass material. So Alt-4 here. Now, what's really neat is if I go into this glass material and I click on this, you'll see down here there's this A option. And if I adjust my alpha here, come on, baby. Let's see. Oh, you know what we have to do is not the glass material here, but on our door object here. Here, let's select our whole door object. Down here, now you could see we have two materials. We have the one that's on the outside rim, and then we have this glass material. This is the glass material we want to adjust. And maybe it's just too thick or, let's go with transparent. There we go. And now I can adjust this. There we go. So now you can see, make sure to adjust that from opaque to transparent for the surface type. Now in our game even, you can see we have this glass material here. Sometimes I tend to pop this out depending on if I have a big enough monitor, and then I'll pull it off screen and then when I go to play my game. So you can see here we have our robot. So our game's looking more realistic, which is kind of neat. All right, I'm going to redock this for the heck of it. And so that's creating glass. And it's the same thing. Like you can create other materials. Like say you want the frame of this. Ideally, you'd want like a wood texture or something. But let's just go and create our own little like metallic metal material. So we're going to go with black metal material. And this could be for a barbecue grill or anything you want. But let's say we want the outside of windows of this house to also have black frames, right? We can use this black material. So I'm going to go in and grab black metal, and I'm just going to drag it on Alt-5. And watch this. I'm not even going to select it this time, but I'll select everything but, let's hit Control, deselect the glass. So So I have the whole frame. So what I did is I double clicked it so it selected everything, and then I held Control to deselect the glass. I'm going to press Alt +5 on my keyboard. Shortcut conflict. Okay, well then I'll just click it here. I didn't realize there's a shortcut conflict. And then notice on our door now, I'm going to go to object mode. We have a third material, which is black material. And then, oh, actually, because we don't have the other one, it replaced it completely. And then we can go in here and we could play with the metallic map. So see how it gives a little bit of reflectiveness. It's reflecting the environment. We can adjust the smoothness, but I can also just kind of give it a dark gray, almost black material. So now we have that door. And then we can go into places like here, delete these, and then hit Control+D, and I'll just kind of like slide this over a little bit. So it looks like it's kind of like slid in the wall. Just position these. I'll hit this a little bit like that. We can also still edit it, which is nice. Come on, stop doing that. Just sort of tweaking this a little bit like that. Looks like we missed a few. I'm holding Shift and dragging a marquee to get anything I might have missed. All right, Control-D on this. And one more time. So you start to see your world really come to life when you have things like glass. Now you might be like, well, I want my glass to be a little reflective. Well, what's nice is if we go into this particular material and we go to our glass option, you can see it's got a little ball highlight shine there. We can increase our metallicness as well as our play with our smoothness. And you can see now it's giving us more of it's reflecting the sky of the environment. See that? Gives it a little bit more realism. All right, let's take a look at, I'm going to hit F to focus, modeling these doors. So I'm going to pause the video and pull up some reference. And actually, one other thing we can do is we can edit this door. Let's say I want this door to rotate on this hinge. I can select this edge, and then in here, let's see, I can hit set pivot. And now when I go to object mode, you can see my pivot point is there. So that's like another way of setting pivot. Let's see if we can maybe do it on this face. I wonder if they have a set pivot for that. Yeah, set pivot, boom. Yeah, now it's definitely in the center. Oops. And what might happen is if you have this set on center, it'll be center of the object. We want it to be on the pivot point. Okay, so I'm going to move that back into position. Like that. I'll do the same thing on this guy. Select this side face here. And then I'm going to select set pivot. And let's move this back into place here. And we could also do things like we can combine stuff. So I'm going to grab this door here, actually, and I'm going to go to new shape. And I'm going to grab like my cylinder tool, for example, and just drag out a cylinder on this surface. And maybe we'll go 8 sides. It's looking a little too low poly. And then I can maybe grab these verts here and just sort of push them in. Oop. Oh, it's not selecting everything. We got to make sure that we have ignore back faces checked. So, or select hidden on. So now I should be able to select all the ones that I don't see. All right, very cool. And let's go ahead and drag out a doorknob and make that a little bit tinier. New shape. We'll go with a sphere. And we can kind of drag out the base of the sphere here. And then come out. There's our doorknob. And that's really high poly. I wonder if there's a way I can see new shape. sphere subdivisions, I'm going to just go with like one subdivision. And then let's just drag this out like that. I'm going to hit F to focus. Now I'd like all of these to kind of rotate together. So I'm going to hold Shift and select all three. You can see they're all selected because it shows the wireframe. And then I'm going to hit Merge Objects here. So that doorknob looks really tiny. I'm just going to Control select everything but that doorknob. And just kind of scale that up a little bit like that. I'm going to double click this thing here. I guess I can't. That's okay. For now, that looks good. There's my doorknob. And then same thing as before, select this face. And then scroll down to the red area, hit Set Pivot. Change this to pivot point. And then I can essentially delete this one. Control D. I'm going to hit R and just invert it. I kind of scale it in the opposite direction. All right, and same thing here. Maybe we just delete these two. Rotate on Y 90 degrees. Control D, duplicate this. And then a trick we could do is select both of these, grab the verts, and let's do center, and just kind of scale those together. Actually, we might just have to like sort of eyeball it a little bit. And ideally, you'd use like exact dimensions. Like, let's walk around. Something else I want to do is I'm just don't have enough area to sort of like I can fall off at any time. So let's just do game object, 3D object, plane. And then just scale this up. Ideally, you would go in and model like a driveway and bushes and all this good stuff. Let's see, what is this at? 0? Let's make sure this is also at 0. Maybe a little lower. But at least now I feel like I could take my character and have him like run around and without stress. All right, so your job is to finish essentially modeling your doors. Let's do one more door here. Here, I'm going to pause the video and bring up a reference image. All right, so I just Googled the word door, and you can see it gave me a bunch of options. So I'm going to show you two quick ways. We'll like model one door, and then we can use this as a texture. So if I right click here, actually I can hit, I just wonder if I right click here, is it going to save off that white box? Let's see, save image as door. Oh, it saved it as a WIP file or something. Okay, so I can hit Windows Shift S if you have a Windows computer. I think it's like Alt Command Shift 4 or something. And I'm just going to copy this here or save it off like that. And you'll see that in the corner I get this thing. You can also just hit Windows, type in snipping, and open the snipping tool, and then just do the same thing here. I think there's a newer tool too, which actually will like cut out all the white. But with the snipping tool, then I'm going to save this image here. Let's go to downloads and just name this door. Okay, and then what I can do is inside of art models here, I'm going to make a new folder. Just call them ENVIR and then assets. And then in here, I can make a new folder, call it doors. And then I'm going to import in, so import new asset. Let's go to our downloads folder here. Let's find that door. And you can see here, let me close this material editor for a second, that we have the door image. We might have to do some cleanup. Now, if I select this door here and I just grab this and I drop it, you can see it created a door material, but it did some funky UVing on it. See how it's like really, it's sort of placed all over the place. Inside of Pro Builder, they have this, when you select the face, they have this UV editor. And when I open this up, you can see this is sort of this is the face here, and this is the other sides of the door here. So what I can do is select this face, and this face corresponds to this face here. And I can just kind of hit R to scale it down, and then W. I just sort of place it. And I can do the same sort of things with like UVs or vertexes, where I can line it up like this. It's just not like me moving those, huh? You know what? I might have to convert it to auto. Or no, let's see. Oh, convert to manual. There it is. Okay, so now I can, I think, grab these and move them. Yeah, okay. Manual is like, let's us do this essentially. Now it looks weird. It's squished, right? So that's where you're going to have to come in and be like, okay, I want to hit R. I'm going to scale this in. I'm missing the doorknob, but I know I made one earlier, so I could probably copy that or just make another one. It's not a big deal. And I'm going to hit F to focus. So there's my door. And then what I can do in here is just grab these faces and sort of close it up a little bit. And honestly, like with something that's this narrow, there might be two doors. Let's see. Same thing on the other side, though. Like we need to UV edit that. And it's still on manual because it says convert to auto, which is good. We want that. Oops, wrong side. Come on, baby. I think that face is out here. Yeah, it's all the way over here. Convert to manual. Hit R, scale that down. And then what I normally do is inside of doors here, I'll make another folder and I'll just call it wood door. And then this wood door, I rename it wood underscore door underscore 01, because you might have multiple types. And then I'll just drag this and drop it in there. And then I'll take this material and drop it in here. And now anywhere where I need a wood door, like say for instance, I don't know, I need one here. You just grab my wood door here and just drop it in. All right, so at this point, even though mine isn't fully textured, you should have an environment with all your walls textured. And this one, in this assignment, you're going to go in and you're going to texture and model all of the doors. In the next video, I'll show you how to do a little bit more of an advanced modeling job.